Let me ask you a question. Before a legal immigrant starts work in the UK, before he earns a single penny, before he starts using a single service in the UK, how much do you think they pay to come into the country? Take a guess. I promise, whatever number you're thinking, it's more than that, what they pay. A skilled worker coming to the UK with one adult partner and one child on a 5-year visa pays £15,525 in immigration health surcharge alone. On top of that, they pay a home office fee of £4,854. Let's get these figures right. When you put the two together, it comes to £20,379 as the starting fee to pay before they have even set foot in the country. This is upfront. This is in full. No part payments, no installments. And according to a 2025 report commissioned by the Royal Society, the combined upfront cost of a 5-year work visa in the UK is 1,000% higher than the average across comparable countries. 1,000%. That is no joke. It's not double, it's not triple, it's 1,000% more than comparable countries. So the UK charges 1,000% more setup costs for a 5-year work visa than any of the developed world. And if the application is refused, according to the Home Office websites and according to the Home Office warning systems, there is no refund of the Home Office fees. Not a single penny. But let's say they arrive, they start work, they start living in the UK, and now this is where the narrative begins. Oh, these immigrants, they come in and they take our services. They become a burden on the state. So, what do they take? Or what are their liabilities? Let's start with the income tax. The first is 20%. Second level is 40%. Third, 45%. Seem familiar? Yes, exactly the same as anyone born and raised and living in the UK all their lives. So exactly the same tax as you. National insurance, exactly the same as you. 8% of all their earnings. Every month, every year. Council tax, exactly the same as you. Whatever you pay, they pay. And on top of that, they continue paying the immigration health surcharge, which means that they are paying for the NHS twice. They are paying the immigration health surcharge at the time of committing to come to the UK and making that huge payment up front. And then they continue paying while they're living and working in the UK and paying their taxes. And those taxes are used towards building the NHS. According to the Migration Observatory at the Oxford University, these workers contribute to NHS costs through the tax system in exactly the same way that every other UK taxpayer does. And then they pay the immigration health surcharge on top. Twice, every year, all the time while they're in the UK. So with all that being paid, surely they must get a lot in return. Of course, Reform talks about it all the time. Mr. Nigel Farage loves to talk about it, how much the immigrants take. So let's look at that. What do they take? Let me tell you exactly what a skilled worker visa holder is entitled to in this country. No universal credit, no housing benefit, no tax credits, no child benefit, no council housing, no job seekers allowance. Nothing. This is called the no recourse to public funds restriction, which is stamped on every single visa issued to come and live and work in the UK. It is absolute and it is total. There are no exceptions. If you are dying, if you are going to be at risk of completely starving, you can make an application to the Home Office, and it is up to their discretion, after having looked at your bank statements, after having looked at your life, whether or not they will allow a certain flexibility on this. But this is an absolute rule for every skilled worker coming to the UK. No recourse to public funds. Absolute. If they lose their job tomorrow, there is absolutely no safety net for them. There is no cushion. No system is catching them. They must support themselves entirely or leave the country. Even if they have been here 3 years, 4 years, they have to leave the country. The very country where they have been paying into the tax system every single month of every single year that they have been living here. And it goes further than that. If this skilled worker loses his job, he can't just switch jobs like you and I can. He can't just say to his employer, you know what? I don't like what you're doing to me. I don't like how you're exploiting me. I don't like how you're making me work extra number of hours and not paying me for that extra time. And I don't like how you blackmail me on the basis of the sponsorship that I have. So I quit. No, you can't. You quit, you won't have another job. You can be made redundant through no fault of yours. Whatever happens, you will have only a short period of time. After curtailment of your visa, you will be given 60 days to leave the country or make another suitable application to stay in the country. They came here legally. They worked legally. They paid into the system whatever they were asked to pay, whether it's national insurance contributions or their income tax or their council tax, whatever it was, they paid. And now they have less freedom in the workplace than anyone born in the UK. And after all this, after all the taxes and the restrictions and the fees, how long before you can call this country home? It used to be 5 years. You could apply for indefinite leave to remain if you complied with all these restrictions and made sure that you paid your taxes and your fees and you continued working for the same employer and you completed that tenure of 5 years. You could apply for indefinite leave. This government has now announced, and this has been confirmed in 2026, that that 5-year period is to be moved on to a 10-year period. And for those who are low-skilled workers, such as carers and care support workers, this might be 15 years. A decade and a half of working and paying your taxes and paying fees and pouring into the system. A decade and a half of no safety net. A decade and a half of asking for permission to stay in the country, in the very country that they have been building. So let me speak to two people at once. If you are British and you have been told that immigrants are a burden on the state, I want you to sit with these numbers. £20,379 for 2 adults and a child to come to live and work in the UK. Full taxes from day one. Paying double for the NHS, once in the immigration health surcharge and secondly in the taxation system. No benefits, no freedom to change their jobs, no safety net. That is not a burden on this country. That is someone paying a price to live in the same country that you have never been asked to pay. And if you are an immigrant watching this, and you have been made to feel like a guest, an unwanted guest, who should be grateful that he is here. I want you to know you have paid your full price to be here. In full, every year, with interest. Nobody gave you anything. You earned it. So the next time someone tells you immigrants don't contribute to the society, ask one question. How much were you made to pay before you could start?